Straight all day.
Now tuned in to the show where you learn the discipline to show up day after day, to do the work, the confidence to put yourself out there boldly and authentically, and the mental toughness to continue showing up, doing the work, putting yourself out there, even when the success you've expected to achieve is yet to be achieved. And on top of all this, you get a huge dose of personal initiative, which is the go-getter energy that moves anyone out there to go and make things happen instead of waiting for things to happen. We put all this together into one bundle package mindset philosophy book show, this masterclass right here that is called Work on Your Game. My name is Dre Baldwin, also known as Dre All Day, and welcome to the show. Today's topic is how to get yourself known when you are in fact a nobody. There are a lot of people out there these days who are looking for attention, looking for notoriety for many different reasons. And today's topic isn't about why you want attention, because there are a lot of reasons why people want it. Some useful, some not. But today is about how to get it. All right, whatever your reason is for wanting to get attention, wanting to be notable, wanting to be known, wanting to be relevant, as people like to say these days, let's talk about it. How can you get yourself known if you are right now in your space, in your field, in your community, in your environment? Right now, you're a nobody. Nobody knows your name. How can you become a somebody? Let's talk about that. Point number one, the topic once again, how to get known when you're a nobody. First thing you got to do is WOYFG. You know what that stands for? Work on your fucking game. That's the most important thing you can do, is the way that we start. If you are a nobody right now, there's a reason why you're a nobody. All right, it may be that you have no game. Maybe because you just haven't performed yet. Maybe it's because you have not performed at the right level at the right time. Maybe it's because you have game, but you have not shown your game when it was necessary, when the bright lights came on. Maybe it's because you do have game, but you haven't shown it in front of the people who need to see it. Maybe you haven't shown your game to the decision makers who can actually help you be known for having game. And maybe you just don't have any game. Maybe you think you have game, but you've been lying to yourself and you actually don't. And if somebody would keep it real with you, they would tell you that you have no game, and you're the only one who doesn't know that you have no game. It may be one of those. All right. So one way to become a somebody very quickly in life is to deliver the goods when you are called upon. So if you're the bench warmer on the sports team, and all of a sudden the person in front of you and the person in front of them gets injured, and now you get your chance, and you might not even know your chance was going to come today, but now you get your chance and you deliver on that chance, all of a sudden you became a somebody. All of a sudden you're somebody that people got to watch out for. Tom Brady, quarterback of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers now, but quarterback for New England Patriots for many years. He was the backup quarterback to a guy named Drew Bledsoe. And Drew Bledsoe was a well-known quarterback, highly paid quarterback, highly regarded quarterback. But Drew Bledsoe got injured and he couldn't play. Tom Brady got his chance to get in. Tom Brady did pretty good, and Tom Brady never gave up that job because he finally got his chance and he delivered the goods when he was called upon. So if right now you're on the bench, metaphorically speaking, you never know when your opportunity may come. Maybe it's with a different team than the team you're sitting on the bench for. Maybe it's with the team that you're on the bench for right now. Maybe the person in front of you can't go and you got to go. Maybe you may get a chance to go in a different position than what you think you're going to get a chance in. As long as you're ready to go and you can deliver, then you can become somebody. But you got to be ready to deliver. So you got to prepare ahead of time and make sure that you have some game. So have some game, then prepare your game. Okay, part of your preparation is working on your game. If you have no game right now, then go get some. So when you get a chance to deliver, you can actually show something. So if you're out there right now, consider this, and you're getting a chance to deliver on a consistent basis, and you feel like you are, yet you're still a nobody, and maybe because your game is just not that good. Maybe it's because your game is just not very impressive. Maybe it's because the level that you think you are delivering at is not the actual level that you are delivering at, which is why you're not getting the recognition, which is why nobody's coming your way, why you're not getting any offers or any looks or any phone calls, simply because you're just not as good as you thought you were. So what you would need to do in this situation is you got to step your game up. You got to WOYFG, work on your fucking game. Deliver the goods even when you're not called upon. You don't have to wait for a call to come in for you to deliver the goods. People will take notice if you show you can go. I've told you way back the story of Kobe Bryant. When he was a rookie in the NBA, he didn't play a whole lot of minutes. He played about 15 minutes a game, which is not no minutes, but it's not a lot. 15 minutes a game as a rookie, and the NBA game is 48 minutes, in case you didn't know. Kobe was coming off the bench, and he would get in every now and then. Some games he wouldn't get in at all. He didn't really understand the game. His body wasn't ready for the game. He had to catch up. He had to work on his game. He had to get better. And he was coming straight out of high school, so he didn't have the years of grooming that most players get going through a college university basketball system. But when Kobe would get in the game, he might only get a couple of minutes. He would get a couple of minutes here and there, get to touch the ball a few times every now and then. When he did get to touch the ball, he showed so much game in those moments that people are like, yo, this guy's going to be something. This guy's going to be somebody. It's not his time just yet, but when he does get his time, this dude is going to be something. They start calling him Showby because every time he would get the ball, he was trying to put on a show. Even though he wasn't playing that many minutes. This guy was always trying to put on the show, and it started to get the attention of the fans. So Kobe's second season in the NBA, he still was not a starter, but he got voted in as a starter for the NBA All-Star game. And this is one of the first times, actually this is the first time this has ever happened. Somebody got voted in as a starter for the All-Star game, and they weren't even a starter for their own NBA team. Nowadays, every now and then you might see a player almost get voted into the All-Star game because the fans, it's like kind of like a gimmick. Some fans might just try to vote a certain player in who's definitely not an all-star, definitely not one of the best 25, not even best 50 players in the whole NBA. But fans get behind this one player, maybe of a hometown team, maybe of a country that a player is from, maybe a player just has a cult following for whatever reason, and the fans try to get that player up in there, but it doesn't work anymore because the NBA has changed the voting process. But Kobe Bryant got voted in as a starter in the All-Star game his second year in the NBA, even though he wasn't even starting for his own team, simply because he generated so much buzz around his name and around his game, just with the small amounts of opportunity he was getting as compared to the amount of opportunity the starters were getting. The guys who were starting were playing more minutes than Kobe Bryant, but the fewer minutes that Kobe Bryant got, even with fewer minutes rather, he was still putting on such a show that people had no choice but to pay attention to the guy. And when you're at that level, it's going to be that obvious, even when your opportunities are few and far between. So what you need to do, this first point, is you got to step up your performance, and there's one other thing you're going to do. I'll tell you about that in point number 2. The topic once again here today is how to become a somebody and get known when you are, in fact, at this point, a nobody. Point number 2, you got to show up. What does showing up mean? It means you need to be on the scene. It means you need to be in the mix. It means wherever things are going down, you need to make it your business to be in that place. You need to be seen. You need to get known. You need people to know your face, know your game, and know what you're about. Masterclass number 1492, I just told you, showing up. The power of being in the room. You need to be where it is going down. Wherever it's happening, wherever the mix is, you got to be there. Understand something, ladies and gentlemen. People get comfortable with you when they get to see you consistently. Things that we don't know about, people we don't know, people we've never seen before, we're wary of them. We may not be as open to them. We may not want to listen to them. We may not want to talk to them because we've never seen them before. We have no idea who this person is or where they came from. But the more we see a person, the more they happen to be around, the more we get comfortable with their presence, the more willing we are to acknowledge them, the more readily we will accept them, the more we feel like we know them, even if we still haven't talked to the person, but we see them all the time. They're around, they're present. People start to know them. I know a lot of people in my neighborhood in Miami, not necessarily because I've shook hands and broke bread with them, but because I'm outside every day. I'm walking around every day. I go to some similar places all the time. So people get to know me, not because they talk to me. They might not even know my name, but they know who I am because they see my face. They see my presence. I'm always around. They see my face. They're like, oh, I'm comfortable with this guy because I've seen him before. I see him out here all the time. All right, this person looks trustworthy. I might be the most vicious serial killer in the world, but because you're seeing me every day, you feel comfortable. This is how human beings are. Any of you have ever dealt with a dog, for example, and the dog is kind of wary of you, barking at you, not really interested in you. If you don't pay attention to the dog, but you don't leave the room, but just don't pay the dog any attention when it's barking at you. Don't try to please the dog. Don't try to appease the dog. Just ignore the dog. Let the dog bark. It's eventually going to stop barking. It's eventually going to stop being agitated with you. Eventually, the dog will become curious. And the dog will start coming around you and may sniff you a little bit. That's how dogs get to know their environment. It's going to sniff a little bit, find out who you are, and eventually the dog's going to get comfortable enough with you that it's not going to bark anymore. Why? Because of familiarity. This is the law of familiarity. We feel more comfortable around things and people that we are familiar with, even if we don't know much about them, just because we've been around them enough. Just because you see somebody in the elevator every day, you get comfortable with that individual. Again, they may be the worst, most dangerous person in the world, but because you see them every day, you feel more comfortable with that individual, and they probably also feel more comfortable with you. So you got to be in the mix. You got to show up. Be in spaces where people can see you. Say hi to people, smile at people. People will feel that they know you even though they've never spoken to you, simply because you are always around. If you are a nobody in any space, go to where the somebodies are already spending time. Make yourself a fixture there, and because you are associating with the somebodies, and because the somebodies are seeing you all the time, the somebodies will become comfortable with you just because you're there. You could be the least skilled, no game having individual in the world, but because you're always around, people will come to associate you with your association. So wherever it is you want to get known, wherever those people are that are already known, that already have game, and are already doing the things, you go do what they're doing. Go to the places that they're going to, at least the ones that you can get in, and be there as much as you possibly can. People are going to start recognizing you as one of those people simply because you are always around. This is the law of association. This is one other application of the law of association. So it's not just about the people that you spend the most time with and you becoming them. It's also about the places that you are at. The more you are associated with a certain place, the more the people in that place will be comfortable with you, just because y'all have an association in common. All right, you always go to this club? Hey, I go to this club. You always at this pool? I'm at this pool. You go to this gym every day? I go to this gym every day. We have something in common. We are both associated with this location, this gym, this restaurant, this mall, this store. And because we both see each other here all the time, I'm more comfortable with you. Now you're not a nobody to me. Now you're somebody to me because I see your face all the time. Just being seen, ladies and gentlemen, just being in the place where it's happening is enough to get you known and take you out of the nobodiness of people not knowing you. Go to where people are at, spend time there, make yourself a fixture. As I told you about in the episode on relationships, that relationships are built on time. You want to build relationships. I told you in relationship building principles, masterclass number 1489, but also masterclass number 1439. The key to building relationships is to put time in. If you want to improve your interpersonal relations, one way is to spend time around people who have strong interpersonal skills, and they will start to rub off on you because you're around them. If you are wanting to build more relationships, you got to put the time in. With any type of person, you got to put the time in to build a relationship. With your family, with anybody, you got to put that time in. You want to build relationships before you need them, like I talked about in masterclass number 231. Get around people. The law of association, ladies and gentlemen, is not just about becoming the people you hang with. It's about associating in the spaces and in the areas where the people that you want to be known by already are. It will make you one of them just because you're in the room, even if you don't do anything. Point number 3. Today's topic is how to become known when you are indeed a nobody. Point number 3, pull on threads. Now, what exactly does it mean to pull on threads? Pulling on threads is a key thing that most people never do. So this is a very important point. Pay close attention. What pulling on threads means is when you make one connection, you need to dig into that connection and make more and more and more through that one connection. In the sales world, they call this tap rooting. What tap rooting is when you meet one person, that prospect may not be the person you're going to be able to sell to, but they know 20 people that may become people that you sell to. So you want to, with that one person, try to figure out who they know, and then go through those people and figure out who they know and who they know and who they know. You might need to go 7 levels deep, tap rooting through prospects before you find your one buyer. But if you had never tap rooted the first person, then you would never gotten to the second, third, and eventually the 7th person. What most people don't do in life is they get an opportunity or they meet a person and they don't dig into that well and try to figure out, all right, what can I get out of this situation? Who does this person know that I need to know? And not in a way that you're being malicious or trying to just take from them or leech off of this individual, but just finding out who this person knows. How can I pull on this thread and make more connections from this one opportunity that I got? All right, this is the essence of opportunism. All right, I've talked about opportunity and opportunism in many episodes of this show. I've talked about opportunity so many times, but masterclass number 1389. Every day is a new opportunity. Masterclass number 1346. Your current opportunity is your best opportunity. Number 1138. You never know when opportunity is watching. Number 1095. Using uncomfortable situations as opportunities for growth. Number 1086. How to create more business opportunities. Number 1041. There is much more opportunity out there than you think. Number 1025, the opportunity is in the opposite. So as you can see, I've talked about opportunity too many times. I'm not going to list all of them because there are way too many of them. But I'll tell you another one. Number 549, the real ones in life always create their own opportunities. How do you create your own opportunities? By being proactive and pulling on the threads. When you meet one person, every human being knows at least another 500 to 1,000 other people. So when you meet one person, find out who they know and who they know and who they know. Be proactive in doing this. Do not be passive and hope that they connect you with somebody. Ask questions. You don't know what kind of questions to ask. Read my book, How to Ask a Better Question. You can get that at workonmygame.com/ask. You can also get my book, 25 Conversation Starters, by going to workonmygame.com/25. These are books that I made to help you get better at asking the right type of open-ended questions to get people to open up, not only to get so that you can learn things and get information from them, but also so that they will learn things and actually like you based on the type of questions that you're asking. Again, those 2 books, Ask Yourself a Better Question and 25 Conversation Starters. Stop waiting for people to come to you. When it comes to pulling on threads, you can't sit around and hope that somebody discovers you or thinks of you or comes around to you or knocks on your door. That is not always a sustainable model. You know, when I talk to people about their work, business people about their work, and I ask them, hey, how do you get your clients? People who work in client-based businesses. And they'll say things like, well, mostly referral, you know, people come to me. But what about when nobody's coming to you? What about when there are no referrals? What is your plan then? Because referrals are not always going to happen. If your whole business is always referrals and there are always more referrals coming in than you can even handle, okay, then you're doing an amazing job. And most of the business people I talk to, they have ups and downs when it comes to referrals. You may go through a little wave of getting a ton of referrals and everything's working, but what about when it's not? What about when the referrals are not coming in? How do you create new opportunity? How do you create new business? I told you, MasterClass 549, the real ones can create their own opportunities. They don't have to wait for opportunity to come around. When I was playing basketball in college, I had a teammate who knew someone who played at a different college close by called St. Francis College. He knew people there, and because he knew some people there, not the basketball team, he knew some people. Actually, he knew a female, I believe. She was on the basketball team, the women's team. She introduced him to some people on the men's team. They introduced us to come play pickup, and I got that experience. Another one of my teammates knew some people up at State College, Penn State's main campus. He found out that there was some basketball being played at a certain location on campus. We just went up there, sight unseen, not knowing anybody, showed up to the gym, played some basketball. We showed up again and again and again, and eventually the basketball team from that school, the boys team and the girls team, eventually showed up to play because they heard we were coming in there and wrecking shop in their gym. All we were doing were pulling on threads. We played on all the gyms in the town that my college was in, Altoona, Pennsylvania. We played in every gym out there, every league out there, every tournament, every summer league. We did all of it. I did the same thing in Philadelphia, the same thing when I was in Tampa Bay, Florida, did the same thing when I was in Miami. Playing basketball, do the same thing in the business world is pulling on threads. When you make one connection, ask yourself, what's the next connection after this? What connections does this connection have that I don't have that will be useful connections for me? These are questions you need to be asking yourself, and you have to be proactive. You have to be aggressive. You have to go after these opportunities. They are not going to come to you. Everybody heard what I just said. The opportunities are not going to come to you. They are not going to hunt you down. You have to go after them. If you're active in going after them, you will start to find that this gets easier and easier. And eventually people will start bringing the connections to you because they see that you're out there going after them. When people know what you're going after, the right type of people will start connecting you back to the things that you want. Because they're like, oh yeah, remember you told me you were looking for this? Well, look at this. Take a look at this. Take a look at this opportunity. Listen to this right here. People will start bringing them to you when you develop that reputation. But if you're a nobody, you have no reputation. So let's recap today's class, which is how to get known when you are a nobody. Point number 1, work on your fucking game. If you're a nobody right now, there's a reason why you're a nobody. That reason might be that you don't have any game. That's why nobody cares about knowing you, because you have nothing to offer. All right, ladies and gentlemen, WIIFM, everybody's tuned into that station. What's in it for me? If you have no game, you have nothing to offer anybody else. When you work on your game, the better your game is, the more useful you are to other people. Deliver the goods even when you're not called upon, and especially when you are called upon. People will notice. So step up your performance. And point number 2, you got to show up. You can't perform if you don't show up. People get comfortable with you when they see you all the time because you're around, you're present, people know your face, you're saying hi to people, that people will feel like they know you even if they never even talk to you, simply because they see you all the time. If you are a nobody, go to where the somebody's already spend time and make yourself a fixture in that place and don't leave. And point number 3, pull on threads. This is a key thing that most people never do in life, period. What pulling on threads means is when you make one connection, dig into that connection and make another one and another one and another one. You got to be proactive and aggressive and opportunistic in doing this. When you see an opportunity, take advantage of it. Do not wait on it. Do not think that it's going to come to you. Most of the time it will not. You must go to it. I did this in the basketball world. I did it in the business world. You should be doing the same in your world. Everything that you do, every connection has another 20 to 1,000 connections within it. If you know how to ask the right questions, if you are aggressive and proactive in going after it. Are you or are you not? And if you haven't been, you better start being it, because now you got the information, which means you are now responsible. Work on your game. Dre all day.